Hello and welcome. In this video, I want to show you how easy it is to exchange information between your QuickBooks customers and your FileMaker customers. So going over here and clicking on the customers, one of the first things that I want to talk to you about is how do you get your QuickBooks customers from your QuickBooks solution down into FileMaker. You're going to want to do that initially when you start using this solution, because what we really recommend, and which really is the best way, is to just have a one-way push of information from FileMaker to QuickBooks. FileMaker really is a preferred front end to QuickBooks because it's much easier and cleaner to use. And also the reason that you want to do a one-way push like that is just so that you don't have confusion. You don't have some people in QuickBooks making changes to the customer record and some people in FileMaker making changes. So you want to do it all in the same place. So we need to get all of the QuickBooks customers down into your FileMaker solution initially. How do we do that? We click the Pull All QB Customers. What this is going to do is pull all of the QuickBooks customers down into a separate table. We have a separate QuickBooks Customers table that is displayed right here in this portal on the customer record. It'll tell us that exactly when we pulled that down. There's a timestamp here. It tells us when we got these customers. Another feature on here is this add button that will appear if this downloaded record from QuickBooks does not find another record in FileMaker that has the same list ID. It makes the assumption that this record needs to be added. However, you want to, if you're unsure at all, you want to make sure, do a search, make sure this record isn't in FileMaker so that you don't double up. But if we click add right here, we can add just one of these to QuickBooks. When we do that, you can see the add button goes away because now this list ID does see another record over here that has the same list ID. So it makes the assumption all of these records are already in your solution. However, if we want to add all of these records from this download, we can do that by clicking the Add All button. And what that's going to do is do what we call in the FileMaker community a matching import. And it's going to match on this unique ID that QuickBooks supplies, the list ID. It's going to match any records that it finds here that have the same list ID here. It's not going to add additional records, but it's going to overwrite the data in FileMaker with whatever is on that customer record. And then any records that do not have a list ID, it will add them to your found set or your total set of records in FileMaker. So I'm not going to do that because we already have all of them in here. But let's talk about how we get them to and from QuickBooks on an individual basis. This button, Send to QuickBooks, works as an add record and a modify record in QuickBooks. And the way that it determines which one of those it's going to do is whether or not there's a list ID. So when you initially create a brand new customer from FileMaker, it will not have any of this information. It will not have a list ID. So once you've filled out your record in FileMaker and you're ready to push that to QuickBooks, you'll click that. It will send it to QuickBooks as a new record because it doesn't have a list ID. When you push it to QuickBooks the first time, it's going to pull back that list ID and this sequence number as well, and it's going to give you, hopefully, a code 0 and a success. Now, if you want to look at any of the records that are in QuickBooks and that do have this list ID, you can click this little button right here. It'll pull QuickBooks up and pull that customer up. So that's a real handy thing right there. One of the things we want to talk about is this link here, refresh edit sequence number. What that means is that it will refresh the edit sequence number, and what the edit sequence number is it's a number that QuickBooks assigns to each record in QuickBooks each time a change is made. That number will change. The list ID that we've been talking about is a unique number that each QuickBooks record has that will never change. But as you make changes to the QuickBooks record, this sequence number always gets updated. So if I come over here and I make a change, say, to this phone number, and I click OK, We don't know it, but QuickBooks has changed that sequence number, and that's going to be a problem. If I try to push this record from FileMaker and update the QuickBooks record, it's not going to let me because it's going to see that my sequence number doesn't match theirs, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I've got a code 3200. The error is the provided edit sequence number is out of date. So how you fix that is just click the refresh edit sequence number, and now it's pulled down the latest sequence number, and if I try to push to QuickBooks again, it's going to work because the sequence number matches. Now, if you do want to pull down and overwrite your FileMaker record with the data that's on the QuickBooks record, you can click the Get from QuickBooks. But again, we really, advise that you just always do it one way, from FileMaker to QuickBooks. Create the records in FileMaker and modify, edit and modify and push to QuickBooks. But you can pull the record from QuickBooks and overwrite your FileMaker record with the latest changes from QuickBooks. The other option that you have here is this customer ID, which is a unique number that FileMaker in this solution gives each customer. If for any reason you want to use this as the account number on the customer's record in QuickBooks, then you can click this button right here and it will use that as the account number in QuickBooks. And let's go over and look at this record. And if we look at the payment settings, we could see that it has 01059, and that is because I have not selected this number to be used. Now, if I do have that selected and now I do a modify over to QuickBooks, it's going to use 01060, not the 01059. So let's hit this button and modify that record in QuickBooks from FileMaker. And then let's go back and look at that record, look at the payment settings, and we can see that it is 01060. It has used my customer ID. Well, I can even flip-flop that and change it if I want, and now do it again, send it back to QuickBooks, come back over here and look, go to my payment setting, and now it's back to the original number that QuickBooks assigned, 01059. So that is all there is to pushing information from FileMaker into QuickBooks and from your QuickBooks customers back down into FileMaker. Thanks for watching.